Rstv, bring you the news as it is.
Today on the news, the government announces emergency meeting to halt airfare hikes. Nigeria Defense Academy decorates newly promoted senior officers, urges greater responsibility. Plus, Benue, Governor Alia condemns kidnap of 14 UTME candidates, orders rescue operations. Good afternoon. Remember, Rivers State is the treasure base of the nation. Let's build and take it to greater heights. This is a task we must all accomplish. You can watch our news live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at RSTVPH. You can also subscribe and click on the notification bell for updates on our live feeds. My name is Ebere Ainda, and you're welcome today to RSTV News at 3. Government at all levels should develop and implement policies that will ensure sustainable funding for digital and hybrid libraries, as well as e-library infrastructure in all local government areas of the Federation to improve reading culture. A professor of library and information science in the Rivers State University, Jennifer Ngozi Iguela, made the recommendation while delivering the 129th inaugural lecture of the institution on the topic, From Print to Pixels, Digitalizing Library and Information Sciences or Services in a Knowledge-Based Economy. God's Power Anele reports that the event was attended by the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Professor Ngozi Odo, and members of the academia. His report.
We need digital service librarian, data librarian to be trained. We need user experience librarians. It will improve our technical skills. It will improve our critical evaluation skills. It will improve our ethical reasoning skills. It will improve our digital citizenship skills. Knowledge is power. Information is the only currency that we can use anywhere in the world.
Professor Ngozi Iguela revealed that the theme underscores the fact that the transformation of library and information services from print to digital formats does not merely represent a technological shift, but a fundamental redefinition of how knowledge is easily created, accessed, organized and preserved. The inaugural lecturer noted that innovation is required by expanding access beyond physical boundaries to enable real-time information retrieval and fostering more inclusive and user-centered services. The university then disclosed that the future of library and information services lies in their ability to adapt, innovate, and balance the enduring legacy of print with the limitless possibilities offered by digital knowledge systems. According to her, libraries should be built and adequately furnished with modern facilities in all the local government areas of the country to encourage youth to start reading early to avoid social vices.
I want to tell the government that the summary of this lecture is for them to build libraries in primary schools, secondary schools, and the building of equipped libraries in the universities so that everybody will know that reading is good.
Vice Chancellor, Rivers State University, Professor Isaac Zeb Opipi, who dissected the book, expressed delight on the in-depth research conducted by Professor Jennifer Iguela and appealed to relevant government authorities to adopt the recommendations to improve the lives of youth and ensure a better society.
When it was eccentric and how it is today, and challenges are associated with it. Then she dealt with the subject matter of transition and the indicators of that transition. in line with the culture of technological research, smart libraries, and to be very specific of our expectations. See, when you have your desires very specific, it becomes easier for those who are going to deliver to you.
Ghost Power Anele, Rstv News.
Government officials, estate developers, financiers, and the organized private sector players converged on an investment summit seeking innovative paths to close Nigeria's 28 million unit housing deficit, organized by Business Day Southeast, South-South at Presidential Hotel, Port Harcourt, with the theme, Addressing Nigeria's Housing Deficit with Innovation Solutions. The summit paired high-level policy dialogue with an exhibition of building technologies, financiers, and public-private partnership models targeted at the Southeast and South-South regions. Melvin Jackson reports.
In an address of welcome, General Manager, Business Development and Partnerships, Southeast and South-South of Business Day Media Limited, Dr. Patrick Ijegbai, said the provision of affordable housing remains one of the most critical challenges confronting governments, corporate organizations, and individuals world over, noting that there are myriads of issues surrounding the actualization of feasible plans to provide shelter for the growing population.
The issues have to do with funding, land acquisition, regulation, and job and environment, among others, and the search for innovative solutions to address the housing deficit becomes a collective one.
Declaring the summit open, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, represented by Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Dagogo Wokoma, opined that the state government prioritizes land titling reforms and front-loading infrastructure to attract large-scale housing projects, reaffirming commitment to the Greater Port Harcourt City Phase 2 Master Plan.
Let me assure you that the Rivers State government remains open to collaborations. We are ready to support initiatives that align with our vision of sustainable growth, environmental responsibilities, and inclusive development.
Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Architect Musa Dangiwa, represented by Federal Land Officer Queen Takei, reiterated that federal government was scaling the Renewed Hope housing program, emphasizing that government cannot do it alone without private sector participation. He called on South-South and Southeast states to provide free or subsidized land bulk infrastructure and issue land certificate of occupancy for credible projects, advised developers that the federal government will offtake, but that developers should build to standard and build affordably.
We are working with the state government to improve land titling, registration, and documentation system across the country. This reform will unlock enormous economic value, expand access to credit.
Delivering a keynote address, Group Managing Director, TAP Africa Global and Greater TAP Nigeria Limited, Mustafa Injie, stated that Port Harcourt does not have land issue, rather it has a product problem, urging that the market mid-income units in the 15 million naira to 35 million naira range delivered at scale using prefabricated systems and technology-enabled sales.
And you cannot buy a house or get access to a house with even a 5-year payment plan. We need to look at, mortgages that are 25 years and above. I mean, somebody said again, prolonged land titling. There was also an issue. But with all this, what we saw were the opportunities.
In their goodwill messages, Mayor of Housing, My East China, President, Port Harcourt Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, FASIMA, Dr. Chinyere Woga, Director General, Yenegwa's Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Yesima, Barrister Jones Idikio Womet, hinted that deficit conversation must move from rhetoric to receipts, urged developers to embrace transparency, escrow based off plan sales, and data-driven demand studies to rebuild buyer confidence. At the end of the summit, awards were presented to deserving participants and a tour of the exhibition stands. Melvin Jackson, Rstv News.
Rivers State is the treasure base of the nation. Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is a task we must all accomplish. You can watch our news live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at RSTVPH. You can also subscribe and click on the notification updates on our live feeds. And now still to come, preparations underway in Equatorial Guinea for arrival of Pope Leo XIV. Details of this and more after this timeout. Stay with us.
Rstv Television, the treasured station.
From the creeks of the capital, we tell the stories.
My name is Gospower Anele, reporting for Rstv Television.
Areas of agriculture, education, infrastructure.
And the people who are concerned are actually calling for government intervention.
Stakeholders believe state police could alleviate the burden of federal police.
From River State to the world, we keep you connected.
Stories gathered, facts verified, truth delivered.
At Rstv, not only do we offer you authentic coverage, we offer the premium value, and our prices you can trust are fair and affordable.
Here in Rstv, our audience is our priority, our integrity, our pride.
Your stories told with truth and passion. That's Rstv Television. Stay with us.
This is Rstv World News. We bring you world-class news, accurate, first-hand, entertaining, balanced analysis. Rstv, Channel 22 Port Harcourt.
Thanks for joining us on the news. A book titled The Way We Were has been presented to the public. The book, a poetic rhyme about culture infiltration and preservation, is written by P. Mba Okago. Nnamdi Olimini reports.
The author of the book, P. Mba Okago, explained that The Way We Were is a wake-up call that educates Africans on how African culture, known for its rich diversity in language, belief, art, and tradition, has faced significant infiltration and erosion over centuries, primarily due to colonization, religious conversion, and globalization. The author said the colonial power imposed their own language, religion, and governance, marginalizing indigenous practices and often branding them as inferior. Religious conversion, which led to decline of African spiritual system, while modern globalization has further influenced younger generation to adopt Western values.
Thought of writing this book stem from the anomalies that are going on in our society, especially now Nigerian society, more specifically our youths. You know, back in the day, killing or to murder somebody was something abominable. But today, a lot of youngies commit all kinds of crime in the name of pursuing money.
The book reviewer, Professor Louis Nzekwe, said the book has been approved by the Federal Ministry of Education and commended the author for the book, describing it as an eye-opener. According to the book reviewer, rhymes and verses of the book will awaken African culture to regain its rightful state, so that Africans will get enlightenment to work, balance tradition and modernity, ensuring that African heritage is celebrated and passed on to future generations.
Honestly, if we can tell ourselves the truth, our culture has been infiltrated, and we need to do something about it. We need to do something about that. You know, yes, the book talks about colonization and all that, but that is true. But we need to answer our names as it ought to be.
Chairman of the occasion, Chief Christian Ohakwe, represented by Mr. Moses Akpotemi, said the reading response of children towards the book will encourage them to see where we were and where we are. presently, noting that Western civilization has taken over African culture in so many ways, adding that the book reviewer has shed more light on how we were before and where we are now.
It's a good one. It's a book that has come to be in our educational system, and the book will encourage education. It talks much more on the culture of Nigeria, how it was in the past, and compared the way it is today.
Others who spoke have this to say.
African culture is being eroded by the European culture. Some of the things that used to happen when we were children doesn't used to happen again because the white man culture have taken over. Like when a child makes a mistake, an elderly person that is not the parent will scold that child. But they dare not try it now.
Is that the book is good, and that it is important that we encourage those who put their brains on paper for others, for the betterment of the society. And it is important that we continue to read and bring back reading culture, because by bringing back reading culture, we are bringing back what we have lost in the past.
Formal launching and unveiling of the book added color to the event. Nnamdi Olimini, Rstv News.
The federal government has announced an emergency stakeholders meeting in April, on 22nd April 2026, to hold the planned airfare hike and airline shutdown in Nigeria over a 300% aviation and air operators. April have threatened to shut down services or significantly hike airfares as jet air rose to above 3,000 naira per litre from 900 naira. In response to airline operators, Keyamo assured that the Nigerian government would intervene to avoid collapse of the sector. The Nigerian Defense Academy (NDA) has charged newly promoted senior officers to demonstrate greater responsibility, discipline, and leadership in addressing Nigeria's evolving security challenges. The charge was given by the commandant of the academy, Major General Oluyemi Olatoye, during a decoration ceremony held at the NDA officers' mess and Kaduna State. In a post obtained from the Academy's X-handle on Friday, a total of 10 senior officers were decorated with new ranks, including 6 lieutenant colonels, 3 commanders, and 1 wing commander from the Nigerian Army, Navy, and Air Force. Addressing the newly promoted officers, Olotoye urged them to justify the confidence reports in them through their elevation, stressing that the new ranks come with higher expectation and more demanding responsibilities. The ceremony, which was described as colorful and joyous, was attended by staff of the academy, retired senior officers, and families of the decorated officers. Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has voiced anger and concern over the kidnapping of passengers, including candidates of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAM in Otukpo. In a statement released by his Chief Press Secretary, Tasso, the governor denounced the incident, calling it a heinous act perpetrated by criminal elements. Governor Alia reassured residents, particularly families of the victims, that security operatives have already been deployed and are intensifying efforts to track down those responsible.
This is Rstv World News. We bring you world-class news, accurate, first-hand, entertaining, balanced analysis. Rstv, Channel 22 Bahakor. This is Rstv World News. We bring you world-class news, accurate, first-hand, entertaining, balanced analysis. Rstv, Channel 22 Bahakor.
And on the foreign scene, preparations are underway in Malambo, the former capital of Equatorial Guinea, to welcome Pope Leo XIV who is due to arrive on Tuesday. The pontiff is due to meet with President Teodora Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, who has ruled the country with an iron fist since taking power in 1979 coup. Leo will address the authorities, representatives of civil society, and members of the diplomatic corps at the presidential palace. He will also hold meetings with the bishops of Equatorial Guinea on Thursday, the last day of his journey. He will celebrate Mass at the Malabo Stadium before taking his flight back to Rome. River State is the treasure base of the nation. Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is a task we must all accomplish. You can watch our news live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at RSTVPH. You can also subscribe and click on the notification bell for updates on our live feeds. My name is Ebere Ainda. Thanks for joining me on the news today. Good afternoon.
Rstv, bring you the news as it is.